You've tuned into Bellingham Podcast Media Tech for the week of All Hallows Eve, October 30th, 2016, episode 17. I'm AJ Barsay.
And I'm Chris Powell. On this episode, AJ will talk about plucking free TV out of thin air. Hey kids, you want to save $500 a year on your Comcast bill? Stick around, I'll share some ideas that have worked for me. And we'll both share our favorite spots in the Downtown District of Bellingham. Darkness falls across the land. The podcast half hour is close at hand, for no mere mortal can resist the coolness of BPM Tech.
Dude, my jaw just dropped.
What?
Did you just is that on the notes? Did I miss? It is on the notes. I missed it. How the heck are you, Chris?
I'm doing just fine, channeling my inner Vincent Price.
Dude, I applaud you.
Nah.
That was amazing.
We got to come up with something different each time, right?
I was worried because the last couple of times you're just like, next on BPM.
We'll have a lot more next on another typical edition of BPM Tech. No, man, this is Halloween.
Dude, are you doing anything fun for Halloween?
No, I hate Halloween. No, actually, so my wife's going to be out of town to a conference. My daughter is probably going to have two of her girlies over to hang out. And I think we're going to make a deal that if you want your girlies over on Halloween, y'all are going to answer the door and give candy to the beggars, the little tiny beggars who want the treats.
I believe they call them trick or treators.
Yes, and so they'll handle that, and then I'll be upstairs with my iDevice watching some TV shows probably. I'm not a fan of Halloween, so that's just me.
A little known fact. The more you know.
That's right. How about you, AJ? What's up Halloween for you?
I don't know. I mean, we're staying in, obviously, and
yes.
We don't get that many trick-or-treaters, but we get a handful, you know. I think my wife and my new son will probably match in some sort of cute regalia.
Oh, yes.
I don't know. I think he would look cute as an Ewok, but I don't know.
And she would be Princess Leia?
That would be cool.
Just saying. There you go.
Anyway, so last episode of BPM, we talked about saving some moolah. And we were talking about the couch potato wars that are being claimed by many camps of these set-top box makers, and like Roku and Apple TV, those type of things, Amazon, Comcast. And we were talking a little bit about a couple of things. One, you told us about how to lights out YouTube, which is super helpful.
Yeah, do what I can to help make the experience a little bit more enjoyable.
Right. And in it, and somebody had called me out on this who listens to our show. They're just like, AJ, you said that you're anti-ads. Gosh golly, how are they supposed to make money if we block the ads? Okay. Let me qualify my statement, okay? Because I mean I am. I appreciate anybody who puts out a website and they're doing it and they're getting ad revenue for it. I actually, when I use an ad blocker, I do have a black and a white list. There are places like The Verge or Business Insider. These are sites that I use my site blocker, and I will whitelist those sites because I'm throwing them a bone. They're doing good reporting. They're doing good content. Now, with that said, the difference is that when I am on, said the YouTube, Google has my data. I said this last episode. Now, Google, if you have my data and you're serving me a really crummy ad that means nothing to me, you don't get it both ways. You don't get an ad and my data. That's what I was saying when I said last episode. And a perfect example of this is last time I was watching YouTube on my Apple TV. Google actually, I don't know, they creeped on my data, the fact that I love travel and I love adventure, and they served me a beautiful, and I'm going to actually put a link in the show notes, a beautiful ad, and I'm going to slaughter their name. I've been trying to do this all week. Lufthansa. You'll get it, yeah. Okay, I've never been on their airline.
Neither have I, but you know.
German-based airline. It is a 4.5 minute ad. Now, yes, you heard me right, 4.5 minutes. But here's the thing. It's a story. Mm-hmm. It's a story about these two guys that originally were from Japan. They grew up in like Denmark, and it's a story of them and their family. It has nothing to do with Lufthansa.
The actual inside the plane or how happy the people are when they're flying.
But it's about culture and people and the whole essence of travel. And props to you, Lufthansa, for doing that type of advertising. And props for Google for finally serving me an ad that I didn't just wait for the 10 seconds and hit skip.
Hooray for the algorithm that actually put that one in your hopper to watch before your video.
Exactly. So that's what I mean by that. Like, and by no means am I promoting that everybody should just block every ad on the internet. From a security standpoint, yes, I understand that. But for these genuine content creators like The Verge or whoever you read your news, by blocking ads, you are blocking revenue to those sites. However, just do something with our data. That's my only thing.
Every now and then when we open up our mailbox, when we come home from work to grab whatever is waiting for us, whether it's a bill or something, there are a couple junk mail, quote unquote, junk mail flyers that I will actually spend more than 2.6 seconds looking at.
Right.
Because one, it's compelling. Two, it actually is interesting to me. And yeah, of course, I'll allow someone like Daring Fireball, for example. The fellow who does Daring Fireball, John Gruber, he has a couple targeted ads, or I mean, he has a couple ads on his site. They're very small, non-intrusive. I don't block those.
Sure.
Because I'm getting I'm willingly going there. I have, I receive content or I receive knowledge from there. I'll throw them a chance to be able to get some fundage for that ad thing. Speaking of Lufthansa, all right. So you told me about this video. You sent me a link. I watched it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great
piece of content.
It's
I can't
a great
call it
story.
an ad.
No, it's a story. It's a info story.
Sure.
You know, and I went on Lufthansa's YouTube channel as a result because once I like something, I want to know everything about it. So the videos that this airline company are doing, they take the staff and they do little featurettes. There's a flight attendant that is a really avid surfer. And she gets excited about her flights to LA because she can catch a good wave. There's one of the chefs that prepares the food for the flights. It was very similar in 2.5 minutes in this 2.5 minute commercial. It was very similar to Jiro Dreams of Sushi, how meticulous he is.
Cool.
And how he says a round cherry tomato rolls, half a tomato does not roll. I mean, this is brilliant stuff. And so I was entertained. Oh, here's a company that takes interest in its people. The people who work there have a story. I'll watch those willingly.
Yeah.
So for what it's worth, Lufthansa is a pretty cool YouTube channel.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that I turned you onto that by my little rant of anti-data scraping and advertising serving.
That's right.
Anyway, I wanted, it's not a retraction, but I wanted to give out my clarification to my comments last episode.
Very good.
So moving on, we're going to segue away from the interwebs because that's typically how we are consuming our data. We got the Hulu, we got the Netflix, we got a whole bunch of other offerings that we talked about last episode. This episode, I want to pull things out of thin air. And no, I'm not a magician. Long ago, kids, in a galaxy far, far away, on the land of Earth, there once was over-the-air television. And then cable came in. Okay, here's the thing. When cable came in, it's like people got brainwashed. Ooh, you must have cable. No, you can still get quality local TV over the air
with the rabbit ear style.
See, that's the thing. Is everybody remembers rabbit ears, right?
Yes.
No, rabbit ears are. I suppose you could still use it, but a couple years back, the FCC moved us to digital communications, and so as such, you have to have a little tuner box. Most TVs these days have them. And also with it, you have to have you're basically pulling out a digital signal. So the rabbit ears of yesteryear are gone, per se. But there are new contemporary amplified indoor and outdoor antennas that anybody can put up. They plug into that ancient, looks like a plug with a big hole in the center.
Coaxial.
It's called coaxial.
Yep.
75 ohm coax. And if you plug in one of these mystical new age rabbit ears, you can pull out local TV. And so what's cool is that there's also I should have grabbed a website, but there's actually a website that'll actually tell you the local stations in your area based off of range. The thing about when you look at television antennas, you're looking at either amplified or unamplified. And what that means is amplified will get you farther range in seeing a signal, say, for instance, down in Seattle and such. So if you put up, and by the way, full disclosure, I do this. I have an amplified antenna on my house. And before I had a house, I put it on my apartment. And I'll get to apartment livers in a second, because Bellingham, I know that not everybody owns a home. So you can put up an amplified antenna, and you're paying for basically the quality of the amplification. So if you see one's like, ooh, $20, you'll get KVOS, which is our local, I think it's channel 12.
At this point, 12.
12 point something. But if you want to get further and further channels, you need more power. Take a look at I don't know how to pronounce, but I'm going to pronounce them Mohu. Okay,
that works.
Mohu. These guys came on the scene a couple years back, right at the digital conversion, and they came out with the Leaf antenna, and it's this almost looks like a paper thin. I don't know, it's probably about the size of an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper with a cable that comes out of it. And what it's intended for is you stick it on just drywall. Like, for instance, if you're a renter, so you don't have to have unsightly holes, or maybe your landlord won't let you hang up an antenna. You know, these are things that are kind of the temporary antennas, and they're relatively affordable. They're like $30. For $30 in 1 month, you could get free local television.
So here's a newbie question, because I've been intrigued by this because, of course, we don't have a cable television subscription. Is this an indoor antenna?
This is an indoor antenna.
Okay, so I was under the impression that in a lot of ways you had to stick the antenna outside in order to get the range, but this can work inside your house.
This could work inside.
Cool.
Now, again, mileage may vary. See store for details.
Yes.
But again, using something like that, you can pull. I mean, they're in the air, Chris. Like just like our cell phone. Your cell phone works in your house. So would a television signal. They're bombarding us.
I can feel it coming in the air tonight.
Can you feel the TV in the air tonight?
That's right.
So Mohu, I haven't used them. I've had one colleague of mine that did use one, and it worked well. Again, what's cool about it also, and I'm going to throw them another bone, is they have one that's, I believe, made out of recycled plastic.
Perfect.
Or as they call it, from the crushed cable boxes of people who are cutting the cord.
Oh, that's precious.
Anyway, take a look at Mohu. They have a wide range. They're, like I said, they can go anywhere from budget friendly to high gain. Ooh, look at this, and I push my bold brim glasses up. You know, they got some pretty cool stuff. Another thing I want to throw out there, and again, like you could look at Best Buy's too. Best Buy's probably has some outdoor antennas. But again, I wanted to throw Mohu a bone because here in a renting town, if you wanted to try this out, giddy up. And again, something else I'll also throw out, because I do pull out TV over the airwaves. A lot of what you're going to find here in Bellingham is Canadian-based television.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. But again, it's kind of funny because if you want to pick up some French, there's also one of the Quebecois stations we were able to pull down with my outdoor antenna. I don't have an indoor antenna. Another thing I want to throw out there is Channel Master. Channel Master's been around for ages. These guys have a box that if you're looking to have this tuner setup that I just talked about, where you get an antenna and you're bringing in the airwaves, but you want to DVR it, how do you do that? Because cable, we do DVR.
Like TiVo.
And so these guys make a tuner DVR combo called the Channel Master. And basically you're able to record your over-the-air television and you can watch it later. So like, for instance, while you're at work, if there's a show, I don't know, Desperate House Buyers, whatever.
The Super Bowl.
Or the Super Bowl
in February.
Okay. Channel Master is kind of the gold standard when it comes to this type of area. Again, I haven't used Channel Master or Mohu, but I've heard people use them for those that are like die-hard cord cutters. Would
this be the middle, like the man in the middle from the Leaf antenna plugs into this Channel Master, and then that plugs into the coaxial?
Yep.
Well, that's a nice way of handling. You get all of this in one and using over the air.
Exactly. And now Channel Masters, they can range in price, because just like a TiVo, right? You're paying for the space and stuff. But unlike TiVo, there is no service. Like, you're buying the box, you're buying the hardware once, you're done. So there might be a high upfront cost of maybe 200, maybe 300 bones for this device if you're looking to do that whole DVR thing, which a lot of cable people, that's what you're used to.
And as a result, if you take into consideration how much a Comcast TV subscription is, or how much a regular TV subscription is, $50-$60 a month.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll get your cost back in a hockey season.
Right. So again, it's just something to throw out there. I mean, even if you try it, like, again, if you just try the antenna approach, at least you can see what's in your area. For $30, I mean, that's cheaper than some dinners around here. Okay. You can, in 1 month, experiment with this thing. If it works, cool. If it doesn't work for you, hey,
Craigslist it.
Craigslist it,
I'll buy it off you. You know what? I've been a good boy this year. I might get some cashola from Santa.
Yeah.
I think I might throw $30 down on this leaf just to see what happens, because one of the problems of cutting the cord at this point in 2016/2017, live sports is not there unless you have a particular subscription. They're all on CBS, NBC, Fox. If I can get that with an amplified $30 solution, giddy up.
Exactly. And so, like I said, mileage may vary based off of topography and where you live. But again, the other thing I'll point out, Chris, is like you said, NFL. If we're pulling down Canadian television, we're going to have to figure out who has the NFL licensing in Canada, specifically British Columbia.
That's true.
So again, you may not get the whole season for live sports
Depending
because
on where
we
you
are close to we're a border town.
And if you're in a rural area where you have a beautiful acreage, not a lot of signal.
Yeah. The other thing I want to point out is I mentioned topography. If you're from the inside the apartment, you might use a leaf. If you're a homeowner, maybe you'll throw up a more powerful antenna, stick it on top of your roof or on a push-up pole. That's what I usually recommend. The other piece of equipment I might recommend if you're really going to die hard and go into this is a motor. Okay, because perhaps as TV conditions change, you might want to turn a little knob and have your antenna kind of turn towards the direction of where the signal is coming from. That's how you can kind of tune in, as it were, back in the olden days. So anyway, those type of motor rotors, rather, you can pick one up at, again, Best Buy or Amazon or even Radio Shack. That's where my memory goes.
Or maybe hardware sales in Bellingham.
I'll have to check that. I doubt that.
I'm always up for hardware sales. But
anyway, if you notice, the other thing I might point out is some antennas are directional, kind of like microphones. So if you notice, like if you put it up and you notice, I'm getting a snowstorm, have your significant other watch the TV as you start turning the antenna, because you're gonna have to find where the signals are coming from. Some antennas are directional versus omnidirectional. So, not to go too geeky, but that's what you need to look for if you're interested in cutting the cord and pulling stuff out of thin air.
Well, it'll be a nice throwback to the 50s when the rabbit ears up on the roofs were directional all the way. A little more to the left. Yeah, that's it.
What I always love doing is having the same remote control as your neighbor and shooting through the window and change their.
Oh yeah.
I'm a prankster. Anyway, so that's all I have on my bit. I just wanted to throw that as a nice little dovetail to what we're talking about, because not everything has to rely on the Comcast or the internet.
It doesn't. So last week or last episode, I teased a little bit of a way that you can save a little bit of money on your Comcast bill. Yeah. There's been a few clients of mine and a few trusted friends that, as I look at their invoice every month for Comcast, they have a phone with them, they have the television, and they have the internet. And I see a fairly steep monthly rate.
How steep are we talking?
Ballpark $170 to $230 a month.
Okay, I have no more complaints. I thought my $70 a month for my high-speed internet was bad. That's bad.
Okay, but this is what you sign up for, and sometimes you just get used to paying that bill. So here's a couple ideas should you want to. You call Comcast customer service. Doesn't matter what kind of person you get on the other line, okay? After you give them your identification, let them know who you are. You say, I've been a very happy subscriber with Comcast since, and if you can remember how long you've had the service, that will help matters out. They will undoubtedly reply, oh, we're so happy to hear that. Thank you for being a valued customer. I had a question regarding my bill. Oh, sure. How may I help you with that? Well, the holidays are coming up soon, and bills may be I have some bills coming up, and money's a little bit tight. Listen up, kids. I was wondering if you had any promotions available that might help me save a couple bucks a month. Oh, I'd be happy to help you, says the Comcast customer service agent. Let me check.
I love your Comcast tone.
Yes. Please wait. And so you can put it on speakerphone so you don't get brain damage. That's right. And while they're looking at their computer to see what kind of promotions they have, keep going. That was good. They will probably come back saying, we have a promotion for the next 12 months. X amount of stuff. By the way, if you're not a heavy internet user like AJ and myself, 150 megabits down is overkill for a lot of what you're doing, unless
you're a podcaster, vlogger, tech extraordinaire.
Right. And so if you can go down to 75 megabits down,
oh man,
which is totally reasonable
that's overkill for most people.
For most families.
Yes.
It'd be very adequate for most families. And if you can do something as far as checking the TV channel packages that you have, do you really need to have the outdoor sports channel? Do you really need to have these premium channels? Yes, it may have HBO and Showtime and others involved. However, there are other solutions out there.
See previous podcasts if you want to know more.
That may, if you eliminate those premium tier packages, might save you some money. In three recent calls where I was speaking with the customer service person on behalf of my client or friend, I saved them an average of $40 or $50 a month.
Hot dog, Chris.
So from $230, we got it down to $175.
Nice.
And when you take that over a 12-month period, that's a chunk of change. So one, you take away TL semicolon DR. Too long didn't read. The takeaways are, listen up, be nice to the Comcast customer service person.
Wait, you don't have to Hulk out to get your way?
No, you don't. Tell them that you're very happy with your service, but you are hoping to be able to see if there are any promotions available that might save you some money. All it takes is a phone call and maybe around 5 to 6 minutes to wait while they're checking. If your account's in good standing, by the way, you might be surprised and pleased with your results and what they may be able to offer. Do not threaten to quit Comcast or quit your program, because they may call your bluff. And if that's the case, you don't have another option in a lot of cases, but just be nice. AJ, you and I are in the customer service field with our particular industry of technology. It's always nice to be nice. What do we say at the end of every podcast?
Be nice.
Leave us a voicemail. And please, we enjoy nice voicemail.
People.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you catch my drift?
Cool. So, I like that, Chris. That's nice.
Anyway,
that's nice.
It's a good thing.
So you alluded to something before we get into our Bellingham districts. There's a listener voicemail for the show.
Yes,
how do people get a hold of that?
So once again, love to hear it. By the way, if you happen to take our advice and call Comcast, send us a voicemail if you were successful or if you weren't. That would be great feedback. We'd love to hear from you. Area code 201-731-8324. That's 201-731-TECH. TECH. So let us know. Ask us a question. If you got something going on with your home entertainment setup, something that you'd like us to discuss or break down, something that is a confusing jargon. We're happy to answer some questions on the air and include it on our future podcast.
Yeah. So with that, let's segue into our districts. And the one thing that we have been avoiding, I don't know if we did this intentionally, but we've been evading the downtown area. Chris, what the heck's up with that?
Okay, well, I'm an introvert. You're an extrovert. So I avoid downtown most of the time just because there's so many people. No, the downtown area of Bellingham, everyone goes there. And
yeah,
so we
it's
always
true.
Want to give shouts out.
Shout outs. There you
Shouts
go.
out to other areas in Bellingham, because there's so much more to see than just the downtown corridor sector. But let's go for it.
So what's your hidden gem in the downtown region?
First of all, I love the automatic lights that if you go a 27-mile-an-hour clip on your car, you can, and if you don't have cars around you, you can blast through all the timed green lights. But I would say on Railroad Avenue by the Pita Pit, off of Holly Street and Railroad, you will find a wonderful store named Cresswell Boggs.
Ah, yes.
Cresswell Boggs is that wonderful little shop of curiosities. Humorous but not crass cards, witty and clever doodads, some handmade jewelry, and some other types of gifts. PNW in the house. As we approach the holiday season, this is a great place to do some Christmas shopping for those little stocking stuffers or some other types of thoughtful gifts for that person that you want to give stuff too.
Cat got your tongue today?
Could not put a bow on that one. Anyway, Cresswell Boggs on Railroad Avenue. That's my secret weapon in the downtown district. Give them a try sometime. How about you, AJ?
Totally agree. I like them. I've got friends abroad, and we've gotten gifts from them, and got them from Cresswell. That's pretty cool. My hidden gem is what I deem the Powell Books of Bellingham.
My bookstore, thank you very much.
Not the Chris Powell,
No.
the Powell. So anyone who's gone to Portland, everybody knows Powell Books down in Portland. And what's cool is here in Bellingham, we have our own. It's called Henderson Books.
Henderson Books with the green, is that the green sign? It's on there are two books.
Well, one's out of business.
Oh.
So there's only one. There's only Henderson's.
I told you I haven't been downtown in a while.
So if you go there, they're located near the courthouse area.
Uh-huh.
And anyway, when you go in, it's cool because first of all, if you're like my wife and you have a whole bunch of books that you have already read 20 bajillion times and you want to give them new life and maybe get some cashola, they buy books back.
That's excellent.
And you can get it for cash, which is a little bit less, or you can get it for in-store credit, which is what my wife's new brain crack is that she will read books and now go back to Henderson's and turn them in and get more books from Henderson's. And so there's a big economy here, which is cool. But if you're looking for obscure books, if you're looking for fantasy, if you're looking for, and they're all gently used, well-conditioned, used books, and they're just stacks upon stacks. It looks like a miniature Powell's. Like, I'm surprised there's not some, quirky little cat walking around or something. Like, it's very cool.
It's a nice place. It's totally Bellingham. While I have an aversion to clutter, it's not overly so where a fella like me in my stature I can still navigate through the aisles, which is great. And plus the owner or the people that work there, very friendly.
Oh, yeah.
And they're always there to help out. And I believe they give you fairly fair prices on the books that you're trading in.
Yeah, especially if you're thinking about used price, and especially if you're thinking about older collections. And if they also have some antique books in there too. Yep. If you're an antiquer, they got the reserved collections. Like the stuff under glass. And I just look and I go, ooh, that's old. But no, like if you're a person like me where you're looking for a book from your childhood, dude, if you got a kiddo, I mean, I'm looking forward to bring my kiddo there. Like the kiddo section looks like utopia of
Absolutely.
books.
So that'll be the good. Oh, by the way, for Christmas gifts, another good place to go to.
Gee, Chris, there's a trend coming up in the next coming shows, isn't there?
We're going to be bombarded with these stupid doorbuster sale commercials on television everywhere we go. And okay, so here's a couple wink, wink.
Local,
publicity.
support local.
Exactly. And so here's a couple ideas so you don't have to worry about trudging out to a huge parking lot to try to navigate your way around, and go elsewhere to try to take care of your Christmas stuff this season. So
totally.
Hey, AJ, let's wrap this thing up. We plowed through a good amount of stuff. For a new app on your phone, give us a recommendation.
So I'm totally going to geek out. So, of course, I have my PS4, and I've been playing Uncharted and Tomb Raider and a few other games. I love Uncharted, and Uncharted 4, hands down, is probably for me, is one of the best adventure games ever made, period. Naughty Dog's awesome job. But it makes me kind of a little bit sad because it is the final installment of that story. And so I was delighted to find out off of some random tweet, there's an Uncharted iOS game.
Hooray!
And it's really dorky. But Drake, who's the main character, he's very cartoonized, so it's very kid friendly if you're concerned about, there's guns and stuff in the real Uncharted. This one, he does have a little pistol, but he's very cartoony. Like Marvel Comics is really scary compared to this app. But what's cool, it's a little puzzle app. So basically you have your Drake and you have to get the treasure, and it's a little maze that you have to draw the path to get to the treasure through the maze, but there's traps and there's little actuators that you have to do and stuff. It's just really stupid fun. And if you have a PS4, you can sign into your PSN account. You can get goodies from that game, and it'll throw it into your multiplayer on the console.
Even better.
So there's an incentive. So check out Uncharted on iOS. I don't believe it's for Android. Sorry, Android users, but I've kind of enjoyed it. It's been fun.
All right.
What about you,
cool.
Chris?
This one's for the Android folks in the house.
Hey!
Yes. I got one for you. In the Google Play Store, you may not find an Amazon Video app, as we're talking about Hulu, Netflix, et cetera, et cetera. Due to some devices, the Amazon Video app will not be able to be installed. Got your hookup. If you go to open up your Chrome browser in your Android phone and go to the Amazon.com site or Google Amazon App Store. And this will install the Amazon App Store, which is parallel to the Google Play Store. Inside there, you will be able to download not just the Amazon Video app for your Android phone or tablet, but also Amazon Underground, which is a nice, edgier looking Amazon UI. It's pretty cool to check out, and it's free, unless you must be a Prime member in order to enjoy it.
See store for details.
That's right. But for Android users, I would say go to the Amazon App Store, Google link, and install that on your Android phone. And you can also install other apps, not just within the Amazon ilk.
And just make sure that you download that Amazon APK from Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon, not
like
anywhere else.
softapk.org or something like that.
Yeah.
That wraps it up for this edition of BPM Tech. Thank you so much again for tuning in, subscribing, rating us, and reviewing us on the Google Play Store, on iTunes and SoundCloud, and Spreaker. That's speaker, but with an R. I'm AJ Barcet.
And I'm Chris Powell. Thanks a lot for listening in, and we'll see you next time.